Asiento. Bienvenidos de nuevo, welcome back. It's now time to resume this info day after the coffee break. And in consideration of our next speakers, this part will be held in English. First of all, I'd like to thank them all for accepting our invitation and for being here today. We're also very grateful to the executive agency for allowing the missions of the representatives of the national Erasmus Plus offices. As you may already know, in some partner countries, the national Erasmus Plus offices assist the Commission, the executive agency, and I would also say the national agencies, and the local authorities in the implementation of the Erasmus Plus program. They are the local point of the countries for their stakeholders involved in the program in the area of higher education, and contribute to improving awareness, visibility, relevance, effectiveness, and impact of the international dimension of Erasmus+. The reason why we ask them to participate in our Info Day is, as you can imagine, the incomplete budget absorption of two envelopes, namely IPA and NEEs, after the two rounds of the call for proposals of international credit mobility projects this year, K107, and we do not want to happen this again next year. So they are going to briefly present the main features of the higher education systems in the countries and the main interests of their higher education institutions willing to participate in their program. After their presentations, they will be sitting outside this room at the tables you will see at the right-hand side to answer to all the questions you may have and to give you more detailed information of the country. So feel free to leave this room and meet them after this session. They come from Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Armenia, and Georgia. And firstly, I will give the floor to Edi Dibra from Albania.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your invitation in this wonderful event, I would say, and for your very warm welcome. We really felt like home here since yesterday, and for the excellent dinner, thank you very much. And for this wonderful place, theater. For once in our life, we feel like a movie star, I told your colleague here in the stage, and it's a great sensation. So, I'm Edith, the Nation Coordinator of Albania, Erasmus Plus office, and I'm not going to start my presentation in the usual way because I want you to show something. When I was watching the maps presented by Laura, I think, in the presentation for internationalization of higher education, I couldn't even see Albania in the map, neither a color nor a territory, nothing at all. And this is why We are a very, very small country in the Western Balkans, and a poor country, a country in development. And this is the reason why I will start with some pictures from Albania. So first I would like to introduce you with my country and seduce you with my country, and then go and speak about the higher education in Albania. As I told you, we are a very small country in the Southeast Europe, in the Western Balkan, and our neighbors are Italy on the west, Greece on the south, Macedonia on the east, and Kosovo and Montenegro on the north. We are around about 28,000 kilometers square. I'll use this microphone. And a small population of about 3 million inhabitants. And the 70% of our landmass is mountainous. We have very high mountains, all located in north, east, and south, and a wonderful coastal region. The Albanian seaside is about 450 kilometers. And here I will show you some pictures. Here you have a picture of a Greek Orthodox churches, because Albania has been the crossroad of different cultures and colonizations and occupations. And here you have some temples from the Hellenic colonization. And you can find as well, it's not working, Roman buildings, ancient Roman buildings. And here, we have been also occupied by the Ottoman Empire. Here you have the example of an Ottoman bridge. So, and a wonderful nature as well. So many waterfalls and canyons. And it was me in the picture, I think, yeah. And a wonderful seaside. I know that in Spain, you are not like in seaside, you have a wonderful seaside as well, but we do. And this was just to make my country more attractive to you. As you can see, we have also sandy seaside, and look at our cave. These are some bloody stalagmites and stalactites in Albania. And a very rich wildlife and very interesting tradition and cultures. And can you guess what is this urchin skin on the mouth of the cow? Is anybody imagining why? This is the Albanian way to stop breastfeeding. So we are a little bit cruel, but we put that urchin skin on the mouth because the cow wouldn't accept anymore to breastfeed the little one. So it's a little bit cruel, as I said. But I'm not going anymore with pictures because I shouldn't exceed the 15 minutes. But I started this way because when I was watching to the map, I come back to the initial idea. I was wondering why Spain would like to cooperate with Albania. Because I know for Albanian we have all the interest to cooperate with you, but why such a big country, developed country, would like to cooperate with Albania? I know it's about IPA envelope, budget envelopes, I know, but I would like to believe that it's not only money to be spent, it's not only about budget. I would like to believe that there is something behind the money and the budget. And I think that always beyond that is the wish to cooperate, to open to other countries, unknown countries, to other people, to other histories. That's why I began in this way with the picture from Albania. But now I will talk about our higher education system. Albanian higher education is in continuous reform, I would say. We don't know anymore when the reform has started and when it's going to end. But I will just point out some of the important steps toward the Bologna process, because we joined Bologna in September 2003. And so far, the implementation of Bologna Charter and the participation in the European area of higher education has been our targets. And all the reform has addressed Bologna-related issues such as the establishment of the 3 cycle of studies, the ECTS, diploma supplement, and quality assurance, and all this kind of issues. And what we have experienced during the last years of our reform has been the liberalization of higher education system. The private higher education was introduced like an alternative to the state higher education, because in the past the education was provided only by public higher education institution. And actually we have 15 public higher education institutions and 23 private ones. For the sake of the truth, we must admit that this kind of liberalization was not accompanied by the appropriate control mechanism and quality assurance mechanism. This is why during the last control that the state undertook in summer 2014, 18 private higher education were closed and 13 was suspended. But we still have a challenge, and our challenge is to achieve standards of quality and excellence in teaching, to improve our student service, to improve our internationalization, to be able to have competitive research, because for research I don't speak, we are really bad at that. And as I mentioned before, we have limited internationalization strategies in our higher education institutions and limited programs in foreign languages. Now, what has happened recently? Now we have a new law in higher education, which passed in the parliament in September 2015, so it's just a young baby. And it was the fruit of a very tough public debate, which is still ongoing in Albania. However, this new law is already in force and needs to be implemented starting from 2016. And some of the main goals of this new law is to flatten this kind of dichotomy between private education and public education. And now with the new law, we won't have any more private universities, but it's a kind of novelty, a new kind of institution which is called independent public institution of higher education will come with a new law. So all universities, as they provide a public good, they cannot be private or public, but they are all public. And this is also related to another thing, which is the public funding, because this kind of independent public institution will benefit from public funding as well. And with the new law, the government is taking a more active role in ensuring the quality and in controlling and maintaining the quality standards in the country. Quality assurance is always a goal for Albania. And another challenge is to gear our higher education programs to the links to the labor market needs. This new law is important because he will bring a new funding scheme, which is now focused on outcomes and performance. It's a performance-based funding scheme. And I hope that it will impact as well our participation in international projects, because universities now are asked to let's say, to bring other money than from the public funding, and this can be a kind of instrument, the participation in international projects. And of course, the mobility and the internationalization remain a challenge, because so far the mobility has been just the privilege of a minority. And here you have some figures to complete a little bit the overview. We have around 38 higher education institutions, and this is for around 174,000 students, and just 20% of them attend the private education institutions. You can find in the following links, we can find the full list of Albanian public and private higher education institutions which are accredited. And around 10,000 teaching staff are in our universities, and just 4,683 are full-time teaching staff, and the rest is part-time teaching staff. The workload for the teaching hours for the academic year is more or less 260 hours per year, but it varies from a lecturer to the academic staff with title professor. This category has 200 hours per academic year. And the types of programs and qualification Albanian system are the same as in every Bologna country. So we start with non-university programs, which are professional studies, which consists at least in 120 ECTS and last 2 years. This is the level 5 of European Qualification Framework, bachelor degree, Master of Science, Master of Arts, professional master, integrated study programs, which is typical mainly in medicine, veterinary, dance, architecture, veterinary studies. Not only this, but I don't have an exhaustive list. And for the third cycle of study, we have also an executive master, which is a kind of the master of philosophy in the Anglo-Saxon system, the PhDs, and the long-term specialization degree, which is mainly for law studies and for medicine. Albania is the first country that have benefited in campus. I talk about the Western Balkan countries since 1992. And we are proud to say that all the public Albanian higher education institutions have participated in campus program in 141 campus projects, and 21 of them are still ongoing. It has been very useful, instrumental for the implementation of Bologna process. And around 70% of the academic staff have benefited for professional development, from mobilities, from trainings, through campus projects. And I would like to say, it's not written there, but I have some figures about the cooperation with the Spanish university. It's not a big deal, but somehow we are involved in campus project with Spanish universities in 3 campus projects, and fortunately in 1 Erasmus Plus project. And I think for international credit mobility, it was only 1 interinstitutional agreement with the Spanish university. For the first call of Erasmus Plus in capacity building, Albanian were partners in 22 proposals, and only 5 of them were selected. And 10 Albanian universities are benefiting from those projects. 5 are public, 5 are private. Unfortunately, we don't have any capacity building project in the role of the applicant, but we are only partners. Here you have titles of the projects. So one was a joint master degree in political sciences, another was to improve the quality assurance in private education, the third one, enhancement of higher education researcher potential for further growth in the Western Balkan, modernizing geodesy, and here we are partner with the Spanish university, and the 5th one is library network support services. For international credit mobility, I think we have done better because Albanian universities managed to establish agreements with 41 higher education institutions from 22 program countries, more or less for 315 outgoing mobilities and 171 incoming mobilities. And this was only for the first round because the figures will be better with the second round results. Here you will find our national priorities in capacity building projects. And for the first category, I would like to say that teacher training and education science is our top priority. Social and behavioral sciences, business and administration, life sciences, computing, engineering, manufacturing, agriculture, forestry and fisheries, social service, and personal services. And for the second category, we have identified only 1 priority, which is learning and teaching tools, methodologies, and pedagogical approaches, including learning outcomes and ICT. For category C, which is improving management and operation of higher education institutions, the governance, strategic planning, and management of higher education is a priority, and now with the new law, we really need to improve our governance capacities. A second priority under this category is university services, such as support service for students' mobility, student counseling, guidance, social services, quality assurance processing and mechanism, development of research and innovative capacities, of course excluding research activities, which is under Horizon 2020. And last category is the development of school and vocational education and post-secondary non-tertiary education level. And for the first time, we have this post-secondary education with a new law. So it's a kind of gap in our Albanian higher education we would like to fill with the support of Erasmus Plus capacity building projects, university enterprise cooperation and employability of graduates, and the last is the definition, implementation, and monitoring of the reform policies. Here you have the Western Balkan priorities. I'm afraid I am anticipating what my colleague from Bosnia will present later on, and perhaps he has to skip this part. I'm not going one by one, but you'll find my presentation pointing outside at the table, because I will repeat a little bit myself, because some of our national priorities are common with our regional priorities. And again, you'll find the teacher training, the physical sciences, engineering and engineering trades, agriculture, forestry, fishery, health, transport services, and environment protection. And here you'll find again, this is more or less the same for all the region, for the Western Balkan regions. For the category B, it's again learning and teaching tools. For C, it's governance, strategic planning, and another priority which was not a national priority, but it's a regional one, is the access to and democratization of higher education. And here we think about including more disadvantaged and marginalized groups and people in the region. And for the last thing, a new priority compared to the national one, I think, is the qualification framework and recognition of qualifications. Now I will present you just some project ideas. They are not projects at all, just some ideas brought to our office by Albanian higher education institutions. And I have divided them according to the fields. And for the education sciences, which is our main priority, you have some ideas. One is for teacher training, and when we say it's pre-service and in-service training, in the field of natural sciences. And this idea is proposed by Tirana University, which is the biggest and the main university in the country. And capacity building for integrating game-based learning in education science through teacher training in Western Balkan. This is an idea from 2 regional universities. Here you have the names, and you'll find in the presentation. Another idea was new teaching tools and pedagogical approaches, including key competencies and ICT-based practices, because we are piloting the digitalization of education in pre-university education. This is the first year that we have introduced that, and we are very much interested to have projects in that field. And another last idea for education sciences was the special and inclusive education from Flora University, which is in the seaside. And for governance and management, we have an idea which came from a private university, exploring good practices on how to improve the governance and the management of the university in the field of economic and business administration, information technologies for business intelligence. Another idea was economic policies in the age of globalization. Another was for European Master in Tourism Management, and development of joint curricula in Western Balkans for teaching entrepreneurship. And a last one, strategic European project management. Let's go to the field of engineering, energy mining, architecture, and food technology. I mixed all of them because it's not only one field, but for the sake of the time. And one project idea was harmonizing the curricula of civil engineering with EU standards. Another one, which is more technical, is the diffusion of cooling and refreshing technologies using the solar energy resources. We have also another idea in that field, which is, I think, the solar energy for sustainable development. Another one was industrial landfill archaeology and heritage. A master in historical construction and structural analysis of monuments, mining and extraction curricula according to EU standards, joint curricula in food science and technology. It's more for food process and perspective. This is for Polytechnic University. Coastal and marine management from Flora University. And a last idea was to have a master of science in engineering of chemical processes. And I think this is the last slide for the project ideas. In the agriculture, one proposal came from the Agriculture University of Tirana, one of the biggest one. It's for the responsible and safe use of pesticides in framework of new European directives and regulations. Another one is capacity building for rural sustainable development in agriculture. And another one is restructuring of study programs of food science, nutrition, and management of food quality. And here you have a mix of ideas. And one is the implementation of dual studies program in digital television in 3 Albanian higher education institutions. Another one is in the field of intercultural exchange, and it's called Identities, Mobilities, Conflict, Intercultural Mediation through Literature in the Western Balkans. Improving the capacities of Albanian universities for research and innovation, a master degree in social work with families and children, home nursing for old people, physical disabilities, chronic diseases. This was from the Faculty of Public Health. Improving the capacity of internationalization of higher education institutions for successful participation in European programs. And the last one is improvement of university services, student counseling, guidance, social service, libraries, everything. And this is an idea from the Polytechnic University, Vlora University, and Dursi universities. And if you have other ideas, because this is not a full list, there are just some ideas. When universities knew that I was coming here, they just were emailing, but probably will have other ideas in the following days. And if you also have ideas, would like to communicate with one of the universities for one specific proposal, please contact me. I will give you the contact of our universities. We can liaise with them and put you both together in contact for any idea. And before I end my presentation and wish you Feliz Navidad y Feliz Año Nuevo, I would like just to finish with a quote which is very meaningful to me. It's again about the cooperation. I know we are not part of your strategic partners, but I would like to say that competitiveness makes you faster, but cooperation makes you better, and we are looking forward to become better, both of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much, Edith. Yeah, just for your information, we will publish all these presentations on our website, so you don't need to write down anything right now. So our next speaker is Suad Muhibik. He comes from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Suad, the floor is yours.
Is it presentation open? Okay, there we go. Thank you. Good afternoon. And first of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me here. This is my first time to be in Spain, and I'm really happy to be here. Okay, first of all, I will just briefly present the content of my presentation. I will first talk about briefly, just one slide about Bosnia and Herzegovina, just key features about the country, and then I will move on to present our higher education system, as well as the national and regional priorities for capacity building. The main purpose of that is to help you understand our system, especially for those of you who are thinking to cooperate in the new capacity building project proposals with our institutions. So it is useful. And then I will also talk about potential project proposals. And at the end, I will just provide some statistics about participation of Bosnia in Tempus, Erasmus Mundus, and Erasmus Plus program. So considering the time limit, we would immediately move. Okay, first, about country. Bosnia and Herzegovina is also a small country, about 4 million people. It's located in the Western Balkan region, bordering with Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro. We have 3 official languages, and we are basically a candidate country for the EU. Let's move on to our higher education system. Although the country is small, it's quite complex politically wise, and also it reflects, the complexities closely reflect the organization of our higher education system. We have 14 level of governments in the country. It's very complex. At the state level, at the national level, we have a Ministry of Civil Affairs, and within it is an education sector. And this ministry is in charge of cooperating. It has a coordinating role. It doesn't have a full authority for education, just a coordinating role. The country is divided in 2 parts. One is called the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and there we have a Federal Ministry of Education and Culture. Within it, there are 10 cantons, autonomous cantons, and each canton has its own Ministry of Education. So if you think to cooperate with our ministries, especially in structural projects where the participation of the ministry is necessary, then you will have a broad range of ministries to consider. But of course, you will have to select the most relevant ministry. There is also one part of the country called Republika Srpska, which is also autonomous region, part of Bosnia, but it has full authority for education. There is a Ministry of Education and Culture in that entity as well. On top of that, there is Brčko district, which is also an independent part of Bosnia. There is education department within the government of that district. So all in all, to summarize it, you will have a little bit of selection to do, if I can call it. So which ministry to work with, which ministry to consult, especially, as I mentioned, capacity building projects. And of course, you can always contact us to help you better understand which ministry is responsible and which is not. There are some agencies directly relevant for higher education, including the Agency for Development of Higher Education and Quality Assurance. This is a national body, independent public organization, which sets criteria and standards for accreditation. It also participates in the selection of experts. It also provides recommendations on criteria and standards. Within the RS entity, there is Higher Education Accreditation Agency of RS. This institution was established recently in 2011 as a public institution in charge of organization and implementation of external quality evaluation process. It also deals with accreditation of higher education institutions in that entity. The third body is called Center for Information and Recognition of Qualifications in Higher Education. This is a national body which provides information, opinion on recognition of foreign degrees and diplomas in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Legislation also reflects closely the structure of the country. At the national level, we have the framework law on higher education, which basically establishes the main key principles in higher education and also responsible authorities setting higher education methods. And also within this framework law, 2 agencies that I mentioned previously were established. There are some decisions, norms, and other documents which are also relevant. Okay, this slide already shows higher education institutions. We have currently 51 higher education institutions. 10 of these are public, including 8 public universities and 2 colleges. And the rest, 41, are private higher education institutions. The structure of these our higher education institutions is also different. It varies. Some are centralized. 3 of the public high universities are centralized. 3 are decentralized, and 5 are centralized institutions. 18, up to date, 18 are accredited, and 12 in the process of accreditation. At the bottom, you see the link where you can find all licensed institutions and accredited institutions in the country. This slide shows the largest public universities in Bosnia and Herzegovina, followed by the University of Sarajevo, which has approximately 1/3 of the students in the country, and followed by Banja Luka, East Sarajevo, Tuzla, Mostar, etc. So if you are considering working with our institutions, these are the web links that you can find all information about the institutions, of course, in the previous slides about all other institutions in the country. Programs and qualifications. As you can see, Bosnia and Herzegovina is a participatory to the Bologna process since 2003. So under the framework law, higher education is organized in 3 cycles, the first, second, and third. The first leading to an undergraduate bachelor degree, which lasts between 3 and 4 years and carrying between 180 and 240 credits. The second leading to master degrees and carries lasting 1 or 2 years and carries between 60 and 120 credits. The third one leading to a degree of doctoral, and last 3 years, 180 credits. Of course, the exceptions are medical studies, which can comprise of up to 360 credits. Let's quickly move to the priorities. For Bosnia and the Western Balkans. Edith, my colleague, already mentioned these, because under the Erasmus Plus program, priorities are organized under themes and categories. There are 3 themes, including curricular development, governance, and management in higher education society. And of course, there are 4 topics, including subject areas A, B, C, D, so you can read it for yourself, and you can see which are the of course, you can see here which category and type is relevant for which activity. But let's move directly to our national priorities compared to regional priorities. And the reason why I'm presenting this is actually because, I mean, most of you probably already know, but just to briefly mention, if you want to participate in capacity building projects, then you have to respect national priorities, all of the selected countries you want to work with, or regional priorities. The topic of your project has to be in line with national priorities of the selected countries or regional priorities for the particular region. So as you can see here, in case of Bosnia, some of our national priorities for curriculum projects are the same as the regional priorities for the Western Balkan region. But it's totally okay, but you have to really ensure that your project is in line with either national or regional priorities. That's very important, and please pay attention to that, because there are lots of projects being rejected because this is eligibility criteria which has to be fully respected. As you can see here, here are the category B priorities. Of course, we have 2 in this particular case, the Bologna process and learning and teaching tools. The second priority is also listed as a regional priority for the Western Balkans. From category C, priorities include internationalization of higher education institutions, which is also listed as a regional priority for the Western Balkan region, plus quality assurance mechanisms. There is also a third regional priorities, which is access and democratization of higher education institutions. From category D, we have 4 national priorities and 4 regional, and 2 of these are the same, national and regional. As you can see, university enterprise cooperation is the same as national and regional, as well as qualification frameworks and recognition of qualifications. And I would immediately tell you that it is very important for Bosnia now. Bosnia is in the process of developing national qualification framework for higher education, and our authorities consider it as a top priority. So it would be really useful to develop projects in that area. Okay, this slide shows the key recommendations that we can provide to you, including involvement of relevant authorities, either ministries, social partners, and other stakeholders. Because our office, as well as other offices from all countries that they are established in, participate in the assessment of shortlisted applications. So we have a chance to look at the project and also provide a feedback, knowing the local developments in each of the countries. So it is important the project is fully in line with the priorities that I mentioned earlier, but it's also important that you involve relevant authorities. In case of Bosnia, you have really to be careful which ministry you should involve. And I would immediately say, look for the most relevant ministry, the one that has authority for education, especially higher education, and it also depends on what is the proposal aim. But not only ministries, but also other relevant institutions, including companies and other relevant institutions. Don't forget to involve students. Students are a very important stakeholder group, and they should really be involved as much as possible. Should insist on cost effectiveness and wider impact, not to limit your impact to just the participatory institutions in your consortium, but to ensure the wider impact beyond the consortium. Pay attention to the capacity of the institutions, especially the capacity depending on the role of each of the institutions, but the institutions should have the capacity to do what they're supposed to do, especially if they undertake the role of coordinator. So they have to demonstrate both operational and financial capacity to do it. Sustainability is an important aspect of all projects, and you should ensure and clearly elaborate how your project objective will be sustainable after the end of the Erasmus Plus grant. You should always try to avoid overlapping with previous Tempus and EU funding needs. This is absolutely important because, as you know, that there used to be lots of Tempus projects in the past, and some of them are still running or recently finished and completed. So try to avoid it. One way to do it, at this web page, at our former, still active web page, you can find the list, a short description of all Tempus projects involving Bosnia in the previous period since 2008. So you can see what was already done, what projects are in the implementation, and you should try to avoid any overlapping. Okay, this slide, I will just, as I said, here, the purpose of this section, considering the time limit, I will quickly go. You will see, for instance, here, some, actually I think 10 or 12 proposals. I don't have time to go in details now to each of these, but I put it on the slides. Some of them are more concrete, some of them are not, but we received the feedback from our institutions. This is the process ongoing, but there are 10 or 12, I think, proposals currently in the pipeline, and there are key informations, including the contact details and or planned beneficiaries from Bosnia and from Spain. So if you're interested in any of these, please look at it carefully. In the afternoon, I will be sitting at a table outside, and I will be happy to discuss each of these projects in more details. And of course, you're always welcome to contact the persons indicated here to get more information about each of these proposals. But this is currently in the process, and you're welcome to get in touch with all of these projects, proposals. So I'll briefly go through this and skip it, and I will complete my presentation with just some statistics, because Bosnia has been was involved in Tempus program in the past since 1996 until 2013. The last call was at that time, and in total we took part in 153 Tempus projects valued about 35 million euros over the 16-year period. This slide shows you the information, which projects. As you can see, most of them, 109, were joint and 44 structural projects. As you can see here, we have cooperated under the Tempus program in the 17-year period in total with 28 projects and 34 institutions from Spain. So this is just for your information. As you can see, the cooperation intensified in the last two calls of the Tempus program, 2012 and 13. But we are not happy with this. We want this cooperation to be improved, to be stronger, and that's why we are here today. We encourage more participation. Okay, now this slide shows participation in Erasmus Mundus program, because we also took part in Erasmus Mundus activities, external cooperation window for the 6 years, 2008-2014. As you can see, the leading universities, the Sarajevo, followed by Tuzla, Mostar, etc. Here you can see also how many students under key action 1, 50 students, 2 scholars and 3 fellows. So this is all statistics about Erasmus Mundus, participation of Bosnia. And then you can see also now here on this slide, the new program Erasmus+. We, in the last call, we took part in 8 capacity building projects. One of these projects involved institutions from Spain, but as I said, this is not enough. We want to see more, and it's really a chance for our institutions to increase cooperation, including 58 international credit mobilities, and one of them was from Spain, and 2 Jean Monnet projects we got this year as well. Here it shows that these 8, we actually applied for 31 projects, 3 of them as applicant, but we got 8 in total. And this is it. This is my brief presentation, considering the time limit, but as I said, I'm available for any further questions this afternoon outside of this room. And again, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much indeed, Suad. Our next speaker is Lana Karlova from Armenia. Please, Lana.
Buenos dias a todos. Barevzes. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you, Seppi, for invitation. It's not my first visit. It's a second one. About 15 years ago, I've been in Barcelona. Madrid is the capital. And my presentation will cover a little bit higher education in our country, about some statistics, about international mobility, about the involvement of in ongoing Tempus projects and capacity building project, and some proposals coming from our side. But first, assume that 4 people representing national Erasmus Plus offices, I think it will be worth to say some words about our role. We advise, we promote cooperation with program countries, and not only, promote regional cooperation as well. We are spreading out the information on all the actions in previous tempos and now Erasmus Plus, key actions in the field of higher education propose. We are organizing conferences, workshops, seminars, advising to potential applicants how to deal with the applications. We are supporting our institutions. And actually, if you would need any connection to our institutions, National Erasmus Plus offices are the right place. You can ask any questions and any suggestions. And we would be glad to have more and more contacts with Spanish universities. We belong to the Eastern Partnership. National Erasmus Plus offices are located in 27 countries: Mediterranean region, Western Balkans, and Edith Suat came from that region, and my colleague Lika and me from Caucasus, and Eastern Partnership, which 6 countries are there: Ukraine, Belarus, Moldova, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia, and the Central Asia. This is Caucasus region. I hope that some of you already been in that region. Anyone? How many people already discovered this mountainous, very beautiful region? No? Yeah. In the future, we all communicate to each other mostly in Russian. Assume that all that region, it's a post-Soviet country region. It's a beautiful and very, I think people are very hospitable, very, very similar to Spanish people, and they are open for foreign people. And I think that it will be very, very nice for discovering that. Armenia has 11 districts with capital of Yerevan, and the biggest cities are Gyumri, Vanadzor, Gavar, Goriz. In total, we have 62 higher education institutions, among them 23 of state universities, public universities, and 39 of private institutions. It's huge, of course, number. 37 research institutes. We have this inheritance from the Soviet Union, like research institutes. They don't belong to higher education. They are working separately. 37 research institutes and vocational education and training sphere. In total, 83 public colleges. Unfortunately, we have declined with the number of students enrolled in higher education, and during these 10 years, we have declined of 15,000 of students. Nowadays, they are around not more than 80,000. And among those who are enrolled in this year, it's about 17,500. On the first position, students who get involved in humanities area. On the second, it's economics and management. I think it will be also interesting to know what are prioritized areas for young generation for the moment. As to foreign students, mostly they came from Russia, Georgia, India, Syria, Iran, And for the moment, it's more than 3,000, more than 3,500 of students. Some facts about the reforms. I would say that in 90s, before the signing of Bologna Declaration, which was 10 years ago, one of our prominent universities started already to establish three-level system with bachelor, master, and PhD. But then Bologna came, and up to now, 2008, it was introduced accumulation and credit system, transfer credit system, and 2009 is also very important. It was established a center, National Center for Quality Assurance, and I would say that this center is very actively participated in Tempus and hopefully in the future for capacity building projects. And they established all the list of standards and criteria for accreditation. Up to now, among 62 universities, 15 universities got accredited. First, it was institutional accreditation, and step by step, we moved to academic accreditations as well. In May, Yerevan was a host of Bologna Ministerial Forum and Policy Forum. It was a huge event for the academic world of the country, and we were very encouraged by the so many key people who are influencing the decision making in higher education visited our country. Some findings during the accreditation procedures. Teaching and learning methods should be revised, obviously, and should be linked to learning outcomes. This is for some ideas probably could rise in the future. Also, sectorial qualification frameworks, also important. Some of ongoing Tempus projects are tackling this particular issue, but they should be, of course, harmonized to national qualification framework. Research activities. Research component should be very strongly strengthening. As soon within our universities, it's not much widespread of research activities. We should think about the creation of a good structure for giving opportunity for making research in different areas. And also working on closing ties, closing links between academic world, between universities and entrepreneurship, business world. Some challenges we are facing is autonomy. Sometimes within strategic plans of universities, it's already written about being autonomous, but written and to be real autonomy, this is an issue for our country. And of course it depends on the people, on the administration level as, of course, top administration and deans, heads of chairs, strengthening, empowering internal quality assurance. This is also another challenge, and how to provide student-centered approach within curricular development and providing the real credit system. And internationalization with all different dimensions. The providing academic programs, and I think this is the matter as barometer already says that for Spanish universities, this is also the thing which should be taken into consideration. Providing in English language our academic programs, and also strengthening the leadership. Going to international credit mobility. Some statistics. After the first call of credit mobility of Erasmus Plus, Key Action 1, we had such table, and we expect mobility from Armenian side to program countries. It will be 206. In total, it would be 256. 206 going outside, and 50 people we are expecting coming to our institutions. And our favorite or most popular program country is Italy. I would say that within this, Yerevan State University, one of the biggest university of the country, has the contract with the University of Granada. And it was such a statistics that this university, this is the top university for the mobility, University of Granada. But we are expecting and we are looking for our much more cooperation with Spanish universities, obviously. Ongoing, we have 28 Tempus projects. This is rather many projects for the country. And this is golden era of Tempus, actually, I would say. And we received 5, new selection of first call of capacity building. We got 5 projects. But among those who are running, I would say that within curricular development, we have such areas as migration, as medical genetics, bioengineering, development of sustainable tourism management, others, and within governance, projects which are dealing with establishing the national qualification framework, and also some project with alignment of academic programs to national qualification framework, with approaching to and focusing on several sectorial areas, several sectors as law, education, engineering, management. Within newly selected 5 capacity building projects, we have a project with the development of microelectronic engineering as a curriculum development. But I would say that we are proud that among 28 of ongoing Tempus projects, and they will go until 2017, and plus 5, in total 33 projects. 9 projects are going under the coordination of Armenian universities. All of them are listed here. For example, Yerevan State Medical University has 2 projects, coordinating 2 projects, and others by 1. And it's rather encouraging, but of course we are looking for the real good quality in management and in having the results and exploitation of results, and not only by those institutions who are involved from the partner countries within the projects. And I would say that within this project we we have very good cooperation with our Georgian universities. 21 projects are going, and now 22 projects are going together with Georgian universities, with Ukrainian universities as well. And here is our collaboration with our program countries. And you will see on the first position is Germany by the number of projects involved. It's 17 projects, and 24 organizations, institutions are involved in 17. On the second place is Austria, and third, United Kingdom. We have rather good collaboration with your institutions as well, but looking forward for having more. And here is statistics with the cooperation within these 5 newly selected project capacity building, and not only with program countries, but with partner countries as well. And this cooperation with Russian institutions, with Belarus, with 5 Israeli institutions, and others. And here is those institutions from Spain who are closely connecting with our country, and our congratulations to Universidad Politécnica de Valencia and Universidad de Sevilla, because they became coordinators of 2 projects, Equidad and Harmony, for this year. University of Alicante is implementing 2 projects together with our institutions. 12 participants in 12 ongoing projects with 2 coordinators. I will be very, very quick. Probably I will escape these slides as soon that you can see the all priorities for curriculum development, for quality assurance and governance reforms, and making the linkage between university and society at large. All you see these national and regional priorities. I would say that this opportunity for collaboration giving us opportunity not only establishing the good relations with program countries, but also within the regions and between multi-country projects. You see here is quality assurance priorities, and concerning management within the institutions, governance, and providing this link to the society at large. And just keep in mind while proposing some project that not only universities could be taken part in the big consortium of capacity building, but also other organizations like non-governmental organizations and some academic networks, ministries. Of course, it depends on the project. It should be structural measure project. Then the ministry should participate in the collaboration. And now it's a precise interest of some of our institutions to have project with Spanish partners. And first slide, it's about international credit mobility coming from American University of Armenia. This is one among other, and also Russian-Armenian University. There are 2 universities among 4 which has intergovernmental agreements. It's very prominent institutions, both of them, and you see all the list of prioritized areas for international credit mobility. on the level of bachelor and master mostly, with the names and with contacts, with emails of those people who are responsible for these contacts. I think it will be on the website of CEPI of all the presentations. You can go forward, but when we will work in the lobby together with my colleagues, we already have our delivery. Then we disseminate this information in paper. Another proposal coming from American University of Armenia, it's about green, inclusive, and resilient operations. It's much more concerning design, construction, and special facilities on the level of bachelor and master degree. Another proposal about the creation of international relations offices and building capacity for those who will work and who will provide this collaboration for all departments on behalf of the institutions. This is the matter of internationalization, and this is about what they really want to do. As soon that we expecting more and more students from outside, and this office should work very precisely. Another one comes from Yerevan State University. This is the Department of Biology, and they want to, and already they are working on this proposal. And if any of your institution or your colleagues would love to join, they will be the coordinator for this call. And this is about the molecular conversation biology for preserving biodiversity. Modernization of curricula in zoology, botany, and genetics. Another proposal comes from one of the regional university, Gyumri State Pedagogical Institute, and they want to concentrate on the developing of such a e-learning networking laboratory, approaching some of sectors, some of the academic programs, which will be created in this this virtual in the form of the virtual study. And another one, creating academic program on several areas: tourism, social work, and psychology, in accordance to sectorial qualification and national qualification framework. Another one comes from University of Languages and Social Sciences, and it's about introducing career management modules into the academic program within the academic curricula. And this is the must. Our university should develop these models, and this is according to regulations. We really need to have this model. Another one comes from National Polytechnic University, previous State Engineering University, that one which in 90s started with bachelor and master programs. This is about aviation mechanics and touching the specialty of technical exploitation of aircraft and engines. They already have some links with the French universities, but looking forward just to have some interest from your side. It will cover bachelor and master programs. Armenian National Center for Quality Assurance, they propose two ideas. One is about teacher training, institutional change, promoting critical thinking culture. It's a big need for our institutions. And another one, promoting student-centered learning environment. If you would like to join this, the cooperation, they will be very, very happy. Join our website, our office website. It will be subscription, erasmusplus.am. You will find ongoing projects, you will find newly selected projects, and all the regulations concerning Erasmus Plus, and higher education experts pages. I think it will be a good promoter for you, and also just understand if you wish to concentrate on this country, on the particular region, it will be on your help. And now some images of Yerevan in Armenia, it's academic opera and philharmony, and Republican Square, the National Institute of Manuscripts, some outside of the capital, some regional views, Symphony of Stones on the right, and the main cathedral, Echmiadzin, which is very, very close to capital, about 30 minutes by car, and Ararat Mountain. It's a beautiful view of that nice mountain. Lake Sevan, a Republican Square, and within the Opera House. And muchas gracias por su atención, and looking forward for your questions. We will be, outside waiting for your questions, for your proposal and interest, but we are here for promoting international credit mobility and collecting your ideas and spreading our ideas for capacity building projects. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lana, for your presentation. And our last speaker, but not less important, is Lika Glonti and comes from Georgia. Lika, please.
Well, hello. I understand that I'm the last speaker and you must be really tired, so I promise to be fast and short. Thank you very much for inviting me here. My job today is to convince you to collaborate with Georgian universities. While looking back, I can say that we are enjoying collaboration with Spanish universities for the last 20 years. Spain is among 5 most active European countries in Tempus and Erasmus Mundus projects in our country, in Georgian case. But I want to tell you that we have capacities to absorb more collaboration with your universities. Okay. My share of geography lessons, so this is my country. We have 4.something million inhabitants. We have our own language, our own script, which can make things a bit difficult, but believe me, the majority of academic personnel at our universities is fluent in English, in German, not that well in Spanish, I have to say, I'm sorry for that, but actually it is a very easy and comfortable country to cooperate with. We are in Bologna since 2005, and all all main requirements are already in place. So we have this 3 cycle of higher education. ECTS credits are already there, established since 2005. We have NQF, diploma supplement. We have internal and external quality assurance services. I mean, all the documents are in place, and I have to say that we are excellent in writing documents and strategic parts. What we want to do is to fill this with real content. So all our projects, all our proposals are aiming at having real and reliable trustful European partners where we can really learn something new, and we want to focus on teaching methodologies, on assessment methodologies, and put new content into our programs. So frankly, we are fed up with sleeping European partners. Sometimes it happens that you have some sleeping European partners, so we want trustful and reliable partners we can really learn from. And actually, for the next 2 years, our main focus will be shifting from Tempus-like projects, which are now called capacity building for higher education, towards more exchange programs. And when I'm talking about the exchange programs, I have to underline that for Georgia, having exchange with Europe at the level of students and staff has not only meaning for higher education quality, but it has also political meaning. We are the country with very strong European aspiration, and we want send as many as possible of our students to Europe to get this experience, because believe me, when we are doing orientation meetings with our students before mobility to Europe and after coming back show enormous differences, in their tolerances, their mentality is shifting, and we consider them as a main basis, as a main source of prosperity of our country. So we really want to push towards more and more exchange programs and towards developing of joint programs. This doesn't mean that we are against Tempus projects. Of course, we want to collaborate in this field too, but our focus is slightly shifting. I will move quite quickly. So these are statistics about higher education system. For the last 20 years, we've been quite active in Tempus and Erasmus Mundus. We have still ongoing projects, but my colleagues have already told you about it. We have quite a big share of private universities participating in these projects, and in some cases, private universities in Georgia are even better than public universities, especially in certain curricular fields like business administration, for example, or media studies or things like that. And we also want to put special emphasis on involving regional universities into these projects, having 40% of them already participating, but still there is a gap to be filled in. This is the geographical distribution of all the running projects right now. We are quite happy with the results of first call of Erasmus+. We got 5 new capacity building projects, 2 Jean Monnet, and 24 Georgian universities are now involved in Erasmus+ credit mobility. And this is a slide that I'm really very proud of, because in our region we are having actually one of the highest number of mobility scholarships. Of course, we cannot compete with Ukraine in total numbers, because Ukraine is a huge country with 44 million inhabitants, but for such a tiny country like Georgia, I think this is something we can be really proud of. I have to tell you, I was extremely nervous when this new competition has been announced, new call, because theoretically there was a chance that we couldn't get anything, because there are no country quotas. I mean, your country, Spain, is getting budget for the whole Europe, neighborhood region, and then it's up to your universities with which country you want to collaborate. And I was extremely happy that we have shown this kind of very high numbers, which tells me that Georgia could be an interesting country for cooperation for European program countries. What we can offer you is that it's very safe, it's very friendly. We have a lot of programs, especially at master and doctoral level. I mean, not at bachelor level, but we have a lot of programs in English language. Again, I'm sorry that we are not providing any courses in Spanish. But the majority of incoming mobile persons are professors and not students in Georgia. Also, students from Europe are more than welcome to come to our universities. This is another slide when it shows the budget, and Georgia is among top 20 partner countries based on share of total grants. So I'm doing a kind of promotion now for my country. No, it's advertising company. And here is a list of Spanish universities. We already had the collaboration among Erasmus Mundus and Tempus projects. Some of them are still ongoing, and you see that the most active, I've sorted them according to the number of projects they are involved, is Alicante, Granada, and Santiago de Compostela. If you don't find your university here, shame on you, so you have to be more active for the next call. I'm sorry, how can I go back? Here are the results of the new call under Erasmus+. We have capacity in 5 of capacity building projects. We have 2 running with European universities, and in candidate mobility we have 3 institutions only yet. And as I told you from the beginning, we really want to make more focus on candidate mobility. So if you still have some places available, please consider us for your partnerships. Yes, Edith already told you that they are in ongoing reform which never ends, the same situation in Georgia. The good thing is that our ministry is not disturbing us. So maybe the Ministry of Education and Science is not very proactive, but at least they are not making any additional barriers. So it really makes work in academic field very comfortable. Universities are really autonomous. But of course, the main issue is quality, because we have our national accreditation agency, and all newly developed programs have to go through the accreditation procedure. One of the problems we have is that they are done by local experts, and we really want to involve more international experts, because Georgia is a small country, everybody knows each other, so we really want to enhance the quality of accreditation process as well. When we speak about the curricular development, our main focus will be on development of joint degree programs, and we want to focus on PhD programs in order to enhance research capacity of our universities. Unlike as in Armenia, we have merged research institutions with universities, and actually when it comes to formal issues, we are trying to get rid of Soviet legacy as much as possible, because we don't think that the system was really efficient. Okay, so fields of cooperation, we are open for any kind of cooperation. We are open for cross-regional cooperation. We have already very good experience with cooperating with Israeli universities. We are also ready to coordinate projects, so if you don't want to deal with nice bureaucracy in Brussels, Georgian universities would be happy to take lead as coordinators. So this makes process actually more or less easy. I'm going to skip this. Sorry. And here, when it comes to our main priorities, I mean, if you are interested, we can discuss everything outside in the lobby during this bilateral sessions, but we really want to develop something new in the field of arts, but I'm afraid Georgia is the only partner country which has art as a priority in the curricular reform. So if we are not going for national projects, then maybe we can enhance student and staff exchanges in this field. Agriculture, social sciences, and engineering. I mean, we have a huge list of priorities, but I'm emphasizing the most priority fields, actually, where we still have gaps and we want to catch up with it. Development of research and innovative capacities, governance, strategic planning, because the situation is that professors are performing much better than administration at the universities. So we want to enhance capacity of our administrative staff at universities, especially at public universities, because they need to be a bit moved and pushed. And development of the higher education sector in the regions within the country. So this could be also one of the fields, and I would be ready to discuss details with you outside. That's actually all I wanted to show you. Here are my contact details, and welcome to Georgia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lika, for being so fast. So, as I said before, we will publish all these presentations on our website, and if you have any questions to any of them, they will be seated outside this room until this evening. Ya pasamos a la siguiente presentación. Bueno, antes de eso quería decir